What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of the Netflix original movie, Thunder Force. This movie, of course, is directed by Ben Falcone. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So Thunder Force is the newest in the superhero genre. This has been a pretty popular genre the last few years of like properties and original content that's kind of, come into the ether that is not DC or Marvel. So we've had stuff like The Boys, we've had stuff like Invincible, we've just had all these different types of, superhero shows, and there's still more coming on. And so this movie stars Melissa McCarthy, once again in a movie that her husband is directing, and she basically plays a character named Lydia, and Lydia was once friends with a character named Emily, who of course is played by Octavia Spencer in this movie, and they had like a very odd couple type pairing. They got along with each other, but Emily was one of these characters that always wanted to become bigger. Her parents were killed by miscreants, which are the super villain characters in the movie. They're the ones with superpowers. And in the process, she ends up growing up. She ends up designing this big company to kind of gain powers and so on and so forth. And Lydia, who is the kind of over-the-top crazy character, ends up working at a factory of some sort, on the dock super worker or whatever. And she and Emily end up basically through genetic operation end up gaining superpowers. Lydia has the ability to become superhuman strength and so on and so forth. Emily's character has basically invincibility. And in essence, this movie is very much a comedy superhero movie because you have Melissa McCarthy in it. And on top of that, we have a character who's played by Cannavale, who's trying to become the mayor and eventually president. You have a couple super villains who are played, of course, by Jason Bateman, who plays the Crab. And we have Klementieff, who, of course, plays Laser, who, of course, was in Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's basically a movie about two women, two superheroes trying to battle against these things called miscreants, and it basically follows every trope from the origins to the eventual conclusion, which you know where it's going to go. And so going into this movie with very, very low expectations, which most people should do, after Ben Falcone's other movies, I will definitely say I was quite surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. It actually took me really by surprise. It's not saying it's a good movie. It's a very low-hanging fruit, very juvenile style movie, but there's enough interesting, fun content here and enough interesting kind of supervillains and superheroes that I got on board. And then the idea that these miscreants have caused Emily, the Octavia Spencer's character, to do what she did, and that she has a daughter named Tracy who is very much like her, very much smart and a bookworm. And seeing Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer work pretty well together as a duo, and kind of the fun that they're having really kind of shocked me, I guess you could say, because I feel sometimes, when it comes to these movies, and when you have movies before that have had a director and actress who are a couple who have worked together and they've been terrible, you don't expect these movies to be any good. And I think it's just a fun movie. I really do. It's a movie that knows what it wants and knows what it needs. It's exactly like every other superhero movie. It doesn't really do anything original, but it still has fun with what it's doing. Still gives you an hour and 45 minutes of, humor. Sometimes you'll laugh, sometimes you'll cringe, and sometimes you'll just watch Jason Bateman be a crab. And I thought that was quite funny. Jason Bateman in this movie is a standout of this movie because he literally has crab hands. He was really literally bitten by a crab, a radioactive crab, and he walks out like a crab, sideways, and he has a personality, and it's actually really, really funny. It really is. I think Jason Bateman was, I think because of the fact that he just went for it, it makes it actually that much more funnier. I do think Klementieff is much funnier in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I think she's still having fun playing a bad guy, and the fact that she has laser, bolt abilities, like she has bolts coming out of her hands and stuff like that, I still think she was fun, but Jason Bateman with crab hands is like a perfect villain for this type of movie, for this over-the-top juvenile movie, and I just love that. And like I said, Cannavale is just playing a very straightforward villain with personal problems and issues, and he can't handle his temper tantrums, which is actually quite funny. And that's just this overall movie's nature. You know, I think Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer have a lot of fun in this movie, and they do a nice job. And you know, they're willing to do stupid things and do over the top, crazy, weird things. And I don't know, I was really surprised by how much I was enjoying this movie, even though I know this movie had horrible dialogue and acting and, you know, comedy bits and stuff like that. I mean, when it goes for the low-hanging fruit, it goes for the low-hanging fruit, and sometimes it's a little much, but I expected that much from a Ben Falcone movie, so. But with that said, I think if you kind of go in having your expectations lowered, I think you will enjoy this movie like I did. Just don't expect this to be the next superhero awesome movie of the century like Avengers Endgame or something like that, because it's just not that type of movie. It's a movie that knows what it wants and knows what it's trying to do and is not expecting you to see it as high art. And yeah, I can actually kind of recommend this film for Jason Bateman alone. I'll keep saying that, but Jason Bateman stole this movie altogether. And there are some things with Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy in this movie that are you'll probably want to clean your eyes out because it's so weird. But yeah, it's an entertaining movie, so I will give it that much credit. And I'll give Ben Falcone credit for giving us a movie that at least entertains in some form or aspect. So, but that's it. That's me, my take on this movie, Thunder Force. Thank you once again to Netflix for allowing me to see this early. But let me know in the comments below if you see this movie or have you seen this movie. Tell me what you think, all that good stuff. Do you agree Jason Bateman steals the movie? But with that said, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.